cat in the wall, eh? Okay, now you're talking my language.
You have a drunk Bailey's from a shoe?
All right, welcome in, boys and girls, back to the view from C-Deck after our long summer off. The Dyerwolf and I, just Matt, are here to talk about the Buckeyes and what's been going on in fall camp so far. Just a little getting our feet wet, getting your feet wet, back into the season, getting hype. I mean, only 23 days away now, Dyer, from the freaking biggest game of the year already, 1 versus 2 in the coaches poll, Ohio State and Texas in the shoe. How are you feeling though? How's your summer been, Buckeye-wise?
I'm feeling good. I mean, we've missed on a couple of recruits here and there, but it seems like that happens every year. So that's, seems like we've been losing a couple of 5 stars, but our class is still decent. And then I like what I'm hearing about just in general. Like, feels like the last time there was a true quarterback battle, it was almost like there was only a battle because one guy wasn't really taking the reins, but it does not seem like that this year, at least from what I'm reading. It's almost like they're going back and forth. It seems like Sayin has the edge for sure right now after the last scrimmage, but I've also heard that Kinghold seems to be better in the red zone. So, I mean, I think 90% of Buckeye fans are probably assuming it's going to be Sayin. I mean, that's kind of what you want, the blue blood, number 1 guy in his class, but I mean, that's obviously the biggest storyline in the summer.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit. We're also going to talk about some of the news coming out. We'll talk about the depth chart. We're going to talk about Ross Bjorks' little plan to make the game day atmosphere improved and whether or not we think it's a good or bad idea. Probably depends on how much of a traditionalist you are, whether you think of that. But we'll hit that last. But we'll start off with the camp news. Recently, a lot of black stripe removals coming out for the freshmen and C.J. Donaldson. Riley Pettijohn, Nate Roberts, Devin Sanchez all lose their black stripes in the past week. Guys that for Roberts, it's going to be hard because the tight end room is so freaking deep already. I don't see how he gets on the field other than maybe special teams. But Pettijohn and Sanchez, like Pettijohn probably the 4th linebacker. Sanchez could be the starting nickelback-ish or starter, and they slide somebody else to nickel. He probably won't play nickel. But we'll probably see a lot of him on the field already this year. Exciting times just to see the freshmen coming through now. And this in C.J. Donaldson, I can't believe he hadn't already lost his black stripe, especially after the spring game he had. But good to see him ready to rock it for the Buckeyes.
I guess I didn't realize he hadn't lost or Sanchez because I feel like Sanchez was probably the biggest type freshman coming in, right? I mean, just as far as how highly talented he was.
Him and St. Clair.
Yeah, and then plus the need that we have, he's definitely going to get playing time. I don't know if he'll start for sure or not, especially with the first game being Texas. But, the linebackers is what I'm most excited for, what I've been hearing. Reese, he sounds like he could be the best linebacker on the team, even though Sonny is most likely he'll probably get block O, I would guess, is what I'm thinking. It's kind of leaning that way, it feels like, but the depth at linebacker seems legit. They're probably going to be the strength of the defense is what, and that's completely opposite of what it's been like in the past, basically since Day's been.
Yeah, I was say since Day's been here, I can't remember anywhere near this good of a linebacker room. And I do think it'll be the strength of the defense, especially if you think Caleb Downs backing them up too, or being kind of in the mix there. Yeah. It'll be amazing. Also, news-wise, Edric Houston, who had the knee injury early in camp, if you were following along then, back. Thank God it was a very short injury because I do not trust the depth at D tackle. That's going to be something that's interesting to look at going down the road. So I don't trust it at all behind really those two and maybe Will Smith, but that's just what we're hearing in camp. We'll talk about that a little bit more when we talk about this other part, O-line, shuffling around. Austin Searveld taking reps at left tackle. I think 11 Warriors especially made more of that comment than there was to it. It sounded like it was kind of the usual thing they do in camps is shuffle guys around, get their feet wet at other positions just in case something happens. I don't think he'll be the starting left tackle against Texas. But it is interesting when they're shuffling around because they still don't have the right side figured out for sure. Right tackle, I guess it's going to be Searveld, but he could play guard too. And what are your thoughts on the O-line in general after last year? Because everybody seems pretty certain that the interior of the line is going to dominate because they were the same guys that we had during the playoff run. But then I'm like, were they that good during the playoff run? I never thought they were. I thought the play calling was what was so good that it kept the defense off balance. Because when we got in straight drop back pass situations or straight run situations, we struggled to move the ball. But we had teams so off balance with the movements we were using, the counters, the types of play calls we had that like nobody could just pin their ears back and attack any part of our offense because we're attacking them. And so if you look at their PFF grades, oddly enough, Texas, I went back and looked through them. Texas was by far their highest grades as a unit, especially these interior linemen of Hensman and Tegra and Luke Montgomery. And that's the game we ran the ball by far the worst in the playoff, like 24 carries for 81 yards. And so the other games we ran a lot better, but they had way worse grades. Like all had like sub-average grades, like down in the 50s. So 60s like average, 60 to 69 is average in PFF. So are you that confident like a lot of people in the O-line? Because I'm not quite there. And then you hear they're getting whooped in practice a little bit.
Yeah. I'll say this. The last couple off seasons in the preseason, the O-line has been a huge concern of mine. Mm-hmm. But I do not feel like that this year. I don't know. I'm with you. I feel like it's maybe a little bit exaggerated with how good it's going to be. Like, you're right. They're all talking like this is going to be like maybe the biggest strength of the team outside of wide receiver it's what I'm hearing. But there were a lot of games that left a lot to be desired last year from the O-line. And you're right. Most of them were guys that are back. So I think the depth is what feels good about this team and how they can rotate and move around. If somebody gets hurt, we're not going to be screwed. Feels like for the most part. So, I mean, I feel good about them, but I'm with you that I don't know if, I mean, I think we'll know a lot more after the first game, right?
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
I can't go in there and being like, we're going to run it down their throat. I'm not that confident.
Yeah. I mean, they'll be breaking in a lot of new D linemen, but it's all like transfers. They brought in like 5 D tackle transfers. So they probably have some good players, but you never know. They'll learn the system.
Well, they got the freshman of the year, right?
Yeah. He's DN though. I'm not as worried about the tackles for whatever reason as I usually am. Talking about the O-line though, and their position battles, the other position battles, obviously the big one is QB, and you hit on it earlier a little bit. Saying versus Lincoln Keenholz. You know, most of the insider people are pretty much saying it's going to be over sooner than later. With that, I mean, like Day may wait a little longer, but it's pretty obvious whenever they put the pads on. And I agree. Whenever I see Lincoln in a full padded sequence, and the bullets are live, he just doesn't seem. The game seems too fast for him still, a little bit. Like he doesn't seem to make the right decisions. And his feet speed up a lot when he throws it. That's what I've seen. And then you even watch like practice videos of him just throwing deep balls and it's inaccurate. Against air, like he's not throwing against anybody. He's just trying to drop in those passes in the corner of the end zone from like 40 yards out, and it's just inaccurate. And the bread and butter, he's good at the checkdowns, is what we hear. And he can help the running game. But the bread and butter, as I've said, what unlocks Day's offense is the intermediate passing game. And I think Sayan's so much better at that because he can layer throws. He's got the quick release, so he can let things develop a little more downfield before he gets rid of it. I just think it's got to be Sayan, right?
I feel like it has to be. What worries me is that Lincoln is maybe one of the most athletic dudes on the team. So I'm worried that he's going to try to do some freaking JT Barrett, 10 Tebow, split the go red zone with Lincoln every once in a while.
Devin Brown and Kyle McCord.
Yes, which maybe he could do that, but I never like the idea of splitting that up. And Texas isn't the game to try it out on.
Yeah.
but it almost feels like he doesn't want to commit to saying yet, just because Lincoln is a freak athlete. I really think he is. I mean, if you look at what he did in high school, he's like he's 3-sport all-state, and then he was also like I think he did like swimming or something obscure in addition to that.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he could truck some people, I guess is what I'm saying.
I mean, Iron Buckeye as well. He definitely brings a more athletic thing. When I've watched him, I think his athleticism is not all in like what you would call pure athleticism. Like, I don't think he's the fastest guy on earth or the strongest guy on earth or the quickest guy on earth. But I think like his hand-eye coordination, like all the stuff you hear he's good at, basketball, baseball, it's like a lot of hand-eye coordination stuff and skill. Like he's got like extra athletic skills more than pure athleticism. So I'm not sure that it translates to major college football athleticism is what I'm saying.
That is true. It almost it kind of reminded me a little bit of all that talk about Devin Brown. And then you see him get on the field and you're like, he is slow as shit. Like, how is he athletic? That's the hesitation I have, where it's like, I like the guy. Like he's dedicated. He seems like a really good, I think he could be a good leader and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if he's a national champion is what it comes down to. Right.
Can he get the job done when the bullets are flying? We'll find out. I mean, if it's not him, if it's not saying, I mean, and it is Keen Holtz, I'll be rooting hard for him.
Yeah.
But I just think, especially with the weapons we have, you talked about the O-line maybe being the second best, but I think tight end group, I think the O-line's the second worst behind, or biggest question mark behind QB on offense. Because I think people say running back, but they're stacked, man. They're stacked at running back. Those dudes can run. Like, we've seen them not in game, like Peoples early in the season when he wasn't getting just like run straight up the right guard's ass calls in like the end, like the Tennessee game. He looked great very early in the season. As a freshman, and they're treating him like he's really good already. Donaldson had success in college football before. Bo Jackson looks super legit coming out there, and then you hear about Turbo Rogers breaking off long plays left and right. I mean, tough to come in the summer nowadays and contribute as a true freshman, but he might, especially in the kicking game. The other battle, and it's on the other side of the ball, that I was worried about, and I wish we would have done a podcast earlier so I could have looked smart previewing it, was the safety opposite of Caleb Downs, and that's between McLean and Malik Hartford. And I'm not a Hartford guy. I think we've seen enough of him to realize that he's not that good. So I was hoping McLean, like, he looked better in the spring game, especially in coverage. And you hear about his athleticism a lot. Then he becomes an Iron Buckeye, though. And then you hear he's like been looking pretty good in practice. I'm feeling a lot better about that. I'm glad he like stepped up. It seems like he's going to take over the starting role, because that could be a really good tandem with him and Downs athleticism-wise, as long as he can make the plays. Hartford, like, I heard Austin Ward on one of the radio stations saying, like, well, remember, he started as a freshman, and all through that camp, you'd be there and you'd hear interception, Malik Hartford, big play, pass breakup, Malik Hartford. But then I was like, wait a minute. Who were the QBs? What was going on then in that season? Oh, that was the Devin Brown, Kyle McCord offseason battle where going as well as Ryan Day would like. It sounds like this one's better, like that Day likes both QBs. I don't think he was happy with how that was going. So maybe it was just the QB play and the offense play. Remember how bad that offense looked against Indiana the first game of the year that year. Maybe that contributed to it more. It's always what you got to think about when you hear about these camp guys that look awesome, is like, why do they look awesome? Is it because the other guys are bad or because they're good?
Yeah. I mean, that's a fair point for sure. I mean, that's probably the worst quarterback situation we've had maybe before Urban, to be honest. I mean, there might have been one in there that Urban had, but I can't think of any. But yeah, I mean, I don't like Hartford as much either, but it's also nice that you have him if he's not the starter coming off the bench, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's got all that experience. That's a pretty nice problem to have, kind of like the linebackers where Laurinaitis basically said there's 3 starters. And I mean, I don't think it's like that necessarily, but I like the state of the defense other than the defensive line right now.
Yeah. The D line, I mean, DN sounds good. Sounds stacked. And watching the drills that 11 Warriors posted, Kenyatta Jackson looks really good.
Yeah,
he looks
you're
the
right.
part physically, and just his movement looks good. He's looking very bendy, which is great. Like, you can beat the edge and then bend and get in. That's why Nick Bosa is so freaking good, because he's so bendy after he beats the tackle. I don't want to get my hopes up too high, but for a guy who's like hasn't been able to surpass, but he had really good guys ahead of him the whole time. So maybe he is ready to explode. And you heard, was it Sonny that said he looks like a first-round pick?
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited about that. It's just the backups at D tackle. Are they actually good? Will Smith sounds like he's got a lot of confidence from the coaches, and that he stepped up in a big way. But then we need like Tywan Malone Sr. He's a fifth-year senior, fourth-year senior. Is he going to be able to step in there? You can't just play three guys in this setup. And I've thought about this with how good the linebackers are. And we basically have, they said today, 3 starters yesterday. 3 starters, and they all look good. And I think Peyton Pierce might be the best of all of them, just from watching. He's Iron Buckeye as well, and he just seems like a natural out there. Like, when I've watched his videos and the spring game, like, dude is exactly where he needs to be every time. Do you play a more traditional 3 linebacker set with 4 down linemen, or do you even go to 3, like a 3-3-5 sometimes? Like Matt Patricia's, he's a multiple defense type of guy, like Bill Belichick was. Do you think we see anything like that, or like maybe like a 3-4?
I that did cross my mind, because I was kind of looking more into his history, and that's definitely true. He mixes stuff up quite a bit. And linebacker, I think, and it seems like it's pretty normal. Like, most people think that right now it's our biggest strength on defense.
Mm-hmm.
So why not get all those guys on the field as much as you can? I think I assume we might know the most at like second half adjustments in the Texas game. Like, depending on how that first half goes, if we go traditional and it's not working out, he might come out second half with all 3 linebackers if they're, running it down our throats or something.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. But either way, we're going to know right away, like you said. That's what's going to be great. But I'm excited to watch all these battles and keep unfolding. They'll probably have a big scrimmage this weekend on Saturday. So hopefully we hear a lot from there. Maybe Julian Sayin just goes nuts and just totally earns the starting spot and gets named starter, and we're off and running. Or maybe we have something else happen. Now, changing subjects a little bit, we have to talk about our boy Ross Bjorks and his game day atmosphere changes that he wants to put forth. New traditions, which is an oxymoron that he's coming out with. Where do you want to start there? I guess we'll start with what's going to happen at the beginning of the game. We'll first start with the students. Students all to the south end zone, all on the former open end.
And
to the north end zone. So it's gonna be loud in the north. It should be loud on both sides for one reason or another. Do you like it? Not like it?
I do not. I don't really like that. I don't see the point. Like, I don't know. You had a Blocko section on either side of the end zone. Made more sense to me. It's just one of those things. Like, it wasn't that, like, it's not necessarily broken or not broken, but why worry about fixing it?
I don't think it had anything to do with the game day atmosphere problems. I'll say that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of weird change.
He's right. I'll say this first. He's right. There are game day atmosphere problems at the shoe. The students are not one of them.
The problem in my experience is there's too many old people that don't want to stand up or get mad that you're standing up in front of them or stuff like that. That's
a big part of it. It's a blue hair crowd. It's an Ann Arbor crowd on a Saturday, especially with all these noon games. I think it's 2 things. Noon kickoffs all the time for our big games. Noon kickoffs in general have never been loud in the shoe. All right. I've been to a lot of games at noon in the shoe. They're never loud because
except for the Michigan game.
I mean, the biggest game. Yes, the Michigan game is the real, like, Texas will be loud.
Yes.
Oregon was loud a couple of years ago. Like, it'll be loud, but it's not the same as night game against Tennessee or Penn State years ago. Like, it's just not the same.
I saw that video on Facebook or something, like Ohio State shows this game on against Tennessee, and now we get Texas at noon. It's like that was maybe the best game, like home experience in the history of the horseshoe. You're not going to be able to make it like that every game during a regular season.
It was the best experience ever. Yes.
I agree. I will never forget it.
Yeah. Okay, so here's what else he wants to do to try though and fix problems that don't necessarily exist. The Victory Bell pregame. What do you think about that?
That's by far the worst one. I mean, sports
Stolen
in general.
12th man in Seattle. Stolen straight from it. 12th man in Seattle. Stolen straight from there.
Sports in general, I feel like, are so like you don't want to jinx anything, right? Like, why would you ring a bell that you call Victory Bell before the freaking game starts? Like, that is completely against everything sports stands for, I feel like.
Yeah, he tried to explain it away too. That's like has something else with Valor on there. I'm just like, dude, don't play semantics. What is the other team gonna say in the locker room? That's all that matters. It doesn't matter what you think. Perception is reality, especially for something like this.
It's so easy.
A victory bell before the damn game started. That's stupid.
It's so easy, yeah. In the locker room, you hear that bell, you know what they think? They assume they already won. Like it writes itself.
Oh, that's exactly what I'm saying if I'm in that locker room.
Yeah.
Okay. The Brutus pregame intro that he's going to make a grand entrance of some sort that's different every week, which Oregon already does this with their duck. Like I said, we're stealing a lot of these ideas. I think that one can actually be fun though. I'm for that one.
Yeah, I'm with you. Honestly, the only ones I'm really against, the biggest one's the bell. And I don't even know if you're going to mention this because it's almost like it's not a new thing. It's the lack of an old tradition is they're getting rid of Hang On Sloopy between the third and fourth quarters.
They're going to play it throughout the third quarter, they said. There's no set time.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like that.
I mean, it's just part of going to the games, man. Like, it's not great. I don't think it's a great tradition at all. Like, it's not like getting me fired up, but neither will playing it throughout the third quarter. So I don't like if you're going to get rid of it, you get rid of it. Don't just play it.
Actually,
it's like trying to have one foot in and one foot. Like, what's the new one going to be? Because a lot of stadiums have a third quarter. Jump Around being the most famous in Wisconsin, but South Carolina has Sandstorm. Like a lot of a new song. Is that what it's going to be? Like a new age song?
Well, there is one more thing that I couldn't stand, and I don't even know the details about it. Let's see I don't know if you're going to bring it up or not.
Okay, go ahead. No, you go.
There's a song he's going to play, and I think
I don't even know what it is. Yeah,
it's terrible. It is the worst. It is awful. It's like
I haven't heard it.
This does not pump anybody up at all. It makes you want to take a nap.
I mean, especially if I've had a few beers in the stadium.
Yeah,
I'm not. Bjork right now is not much of an improvement over Gene Smith, is what I'll say. And if you've watched our podcast before, you know I am not a fan of Gene Smith at all. Yeah. So right now it's a bunch of words and things that I like. I don't know, between the Diebler hire as well that I'm not loving, although I'm talking myself into this basketball team for this year. It's still he leaves much to be desired. He seems like he says a lot of words that make it seem like he knows what he's talking about, and then I see the actions behind it, and I'm like, huh? And people are saying, "Oh, we won national title last year because he got NIL lined up." I'm like,
no,
I don't know. Let's talk about that real quick. I guess with our NIL and our struggles on the recruiting trail this year, we have the 9th ranked class right now, which would be our lowest one since Day's first year. We only took 17 recruits that year. Our rating was through the roof. We've had 9 commits in the summer period from June and July. Only 1 is a top 100 player. It doesn't seem like we want to spend on high. That's our strategy. And people are like, well, it worked for a national championship. I'm like, no. Yes, technically NIL has been around for that whole class. 2021 is when it started, when they came through. But that first recruiting class was not based on NIL. Like, you weren't having to outbid anybody too much. I mean, you had to give, JT got some NIL stuff. But you weren't paying $4 million for a quarterback. You weren't paying, or whatever, what Michigan just paid, $4 million a year for a quarterback coming out. You weren't doing that. You're not paying 1.7 mil a year for an offensive tackle that's fresh out of high school, like you are now. So that it started the next year with Texas A&M's 2022 class when they just shelled it out. Like suddenly you're like, oh crap, if you're going to get the top class, you're going to spend a lot of money to do it. You're not just going to get it based on the traditional stuff of like development, relationships, all that good stuff. So I would say like so we had the number 2 class in the country that year, 2021. And that's where the seniors were last year. Exuka, 5-star. Sawyer, 5-star. JT, 5-star. Caleb Downs, 5-star. Jeremiah, 5-star. Like Sonny Styles, 5-star. We had a ton of 5-star talent we were retaining.
Travion, maybe, I think, 5-star.
It's definitely 5-star. He was like number 1 running back in the class.
Yeah.
We were loaded with 5-stars, what I'm saying. And it wasn't because of our NIL strategy. That year doesn't really count for that. So now with the new one on there and the roster retention stuff, I mean, it could work. Julian's saying 5-star too. Do you think that I don't give that credit to say that, like, we don't know if it's worked yet, technically. Like, I'm not saying it hasn't worked, but we don't know that it's worked either because we don't have any of those recruiting classes anymore. We haven't had a top 2 class since then.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of thought it did work just because I got so annoyed by the media saying like we bought our team because it really wasn't true.
No, it wasn't.
And the main reason we won is because everybody came back, but it was that 21 class that pretty much did it. So I think it was a mix. I will be honest, I did not realize we had dropped all the way to 9th in the recruiting class. Last time I checked, it was like 5th or something. Is Scum ahead of us now?
It might be. I don't know. Let me look real quick. You keep talking.
But I respect the strategy because I don't want to just pay freaking Bryce Underwood $4 million and then he gets a big freaking beer belly 2 weeks after he comes to camp when he hasn't proven anything. Like I like the idea that Day wants guys that want to be here, not necessarily they just come because we pay them more money. Because then they're more willing to leave after. I think that's just a fact. I feel like that's not an opinion. So I like the mix of it, but maybe we should, like you said, I mentioned earlier how we've missed out on a few this summer where maybe we should throw the bag at 1 or 2 guys per class, and we seem to be pretty stubborn in that regard.
Especially at the defensive line positions, or both lines. Both lines are where we're not spending, and like we keep losing out. Everybody says it's based on like pure NIL. Like we're losing out at those positions, and we're starting to lose out in secondary players too. Oregon is cleaning up, and like their secondary is going to be, if they can keep everybody, which I think they will. Like I think we're going to see less transfers from big name players because of these contracts in the future. Just my thought. Like these revenue sharing contracts they're signing, there is some commitment now. Like they can't just like up and leave without buying out that contract or whatever. What was that? And we are ahead of Michigan. They're 11th, we're 9th, but closer than it should be. And we're behind multiple teams that have fewer recruits than us too. So it's not like but look at the ones we got. Like it's not looking as good as it usually does. And it's, of course, like who's our top recruits? Like a wide receiver again, like the same type of guys we always get. I mean, we have a safety that's really high too, but we need in the trenches. I think we need to start spending some money, and because we can't just rely on a transfer all the time, because then we're paying top dollar for that too. But I get where their strategy is, and it may work. So we'll see this year. This year will be the true test of that. If we work and win national championship this year, then by golly, just keep doing what we're doing. But if not, and then you gotta like start looking like, how do we get these guys to come here? You have to open up the wallet. And it's funny because we are always dollars sign you to a lot of teams, especially in the Big Ten. Like we're spending money, we're paying all these guys, and then when we comes to we're actually allowed to, it doesn't seem like we are.
No. Oregon is, I feel like they're the biggest spender in Texas nationally.
Texas Tech.
But I feel like we have the potential, like we are capable of spending as much as anybody, right? I mean, that's what it sure feels.
Theoretically, I don't know that we are. People are saying I saw one national analyst say once Ohio State stops acting poor, then they'll do it. But okay, one, look at these top spenders. What do they have in common? They got billionaires in their pocket, like billionaires, like that have. If you're a billionaire, you can buy a college football team and not even feel it. Like you can drop $20 million in a year and you're not going to feel it if you have for sure with $4 billion. We don't really have those. Like we have a lot of wealthy people up here. Trust me, I work around them, but they're not billionaires.
No.
Like, Les Wexner's like the only one, and he does not care about Ohio State football that much. Like he cares, but not that much. He cares about that hospital. That's the number one thing. It's his first, second, and third priority. So he's not going to go shell out $10 million for a quarterback like Larry Ellison just did at Michigan. So I don't know. I don't know that we do have the money to just like say we're going to do it unless we start cutting some sports.
Yeah, we do. I think we might have the most of any Division I team I saw.
Stanford.
Yeah, so it's like, how much does that really save though? If you drop like the 5 bottom sports or something, it's not going to be hundreds of millions of dollars or anything.
No, but it'd be a few million. I mean, I guess you're right though. Over for what it means to get a player nowadays, nothing. You're right about that. I don't know. Just interesting to see. It's like I said, we can't say it works or doesn't. But the point is, I don't think it necessarily works yet. It might, but I don't think last year saying that, oh, see, it worked in the national championship. I'm like, no, the 2021 class, which was full of 5 stars, was not built that way. So was not in the modern era of NIL started in 2022 with Texas A&M's class when they decide we're buying the best class there is. And now everybody's buying recruits left and right. And you're having to win by bidding. Like relationships, really, that's secondary. Like we're getting guys that we want, but we paid Jeremiah Smith a lot of money to come here. I'm guessing he and Caleb Downs allegedly we cost $35 million this year. I'm guessing they're about $10 million of that just by the two of them. Probably maybe more. Like that's what it's going to cost to get these types of players.
And those 2 guys is what is giving us a legitimate chance to win a national title. So
yeah. Oh, if we didn't have those 2, we'd be 10th.
We'd be Michigan.
Yeah. All right, but that'll do it for this podcast. Just getting our feet wet back into the Buckeye swing of things for the fall camp. We'll have a lot more coming throughout the summer. We're about to record a podcast about sleepers for the college football playoff and why it's not Illinois, you assholes, for multiple reasons, but mainly, what were they ranked in the coaches poll, Casey?
Like 13.
Well, what's that? Who's that put them in a playoff?
In the playoff.
No, 1 out because Boise State would jump them.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
But that makes them a fringe contender. You can't be a sleeper if you're a fringe contender, you idiots. And also, if the coaches put them there, that's the coaches that put them there. Who are they playing against? Are they being slept on if the coaches put them 12th? Yeah. More on that. I'm going to go off on that podcast. Get ready for angry Matt. But this is the View from C-Deck. Like, subscribe, follow us all season. This is our 4th year going on this podcast. Is that right? 4 years? Seems crazy.
Days.
I'm going to start up a website too, but I'll talk about that more in a future podcast. But keep following us for more great content. Just 2 stupid guys, or 3 if the Haas is here, saying smart things about college football, though. And we will see you guys next.
Hey, guys. Oh, big gulps, huh? All right. Well, see you later.